Hello, and welcome to 97.9 Unity Radio, the best sports talk show in all of Worcester, Massachusetts, in all of Central Massachusetts, in all of New England, and probably the world. And with us today, the voice of reason. He can't pay his bills in joy, and he no longer will have to. Frank Cristiano.
We're going to be paying him an actual valuable money.
Yeah, valuable money.
Money will again be valuable.
It'll be worth something.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been an easy road to get there. I mean, Biden is really doing all he can to make things difficult.
Yeah, I mean, he's going out with a big bang in his last couple weeks in office.
Just like a crybaby.
Well, they're doing everything they can to stick it to him for the next 4 years. That makes total sense. Every administration tries to put their stamp on it before they leave, and that's what's happening right now.
But I don't recall Trump being this difficult besides the alleged insurrection he planned.
Well, I mean, beforehand. I mean, if you count that as being planned, that was pretty big.
Yeah,
I don't think that was the case, but I mean, I found, here's the thing, not as far as the rule of law, which I agree we have to stay with that. But I found January 6th actually interesting because I'd never seen so many tough talking, rabble rousing, fight to the death.
Oh, the badasses! Yeah.
All those politicians that just talked a lot of crap against everyone, right?
Yeah,
we're the toughest. We're the meanest. We won't stand down. And what happened? All of a sudden, a bunch of people came through the front doors in Congress, and they ran like rats on a boat. They ran. They were hiding. They were barricading doors with desks and chairs.
They were scared. They were scared.
Yeah, this shows their true colors.
I mean,
they're all full of shit.
The MAGA people, you never know.
They're all full of shit.
You could get hurt.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I know.
But we had quite the interesting day yesterday.
Yes.
Actually, not really. There were no real big surprises as far as the NFL playoffs go.
I mean, it's sort of yesterday was a big day because it sort of set everything in place.
Yeah. It's finalized.
Culminating with the Sunday night game.
Yeah, the Sunday night game was just a massacre, an absolute massacre that questions, as you have said all along, and I have disagreed with, the future of Sam Darnold, if he would be the guy, if you would give him a 3 or 4 year extension. I have said absolutely he's earned it. But after last night's game, and depending on what happens in the playoffs, you never know. Can you justify it?
Well,
he did not look great.
You got to look at it as in this way right now. I think Detroit did a great job. Aaron Glenn, the D coordinator, did a great job. It was mentioned throughout the game of how he said, went up to Campbell and said, I'm going to take a shot at this, and I think we can get at him with pressure.
Yeah.
And now listen, you don't have to be a genius as a defensive coordinator to know. I was a D coordinator for 20 years. You don't have to be a genius to know that pressure will throw everything off of an offensive set and an offensive philosophy and an offensive game plan if you can get to them.
Correct.
What I think the flaw that showed is that Minnesota has a hard time protecting
with pressure
against multiple pressures, coming from different angles, that they're not, and they weren't ready for that because, Detroit is pressured throughout the season. They have to, because they run man probably 99% of the time.
They play the most man coverage, I think,
in the NFL. Exactly. So, and that's Aaron Glenn's forte when he played. So he knows how to teach that, and that's what they thrive on. So, bottom line, you're leaving your guys on an island. You got to get to that quarterback before he gets the ball off. So they pressure a lot, but I think they really went out of their way last night to send the dogs and to have them come from all different angles.
And teams aren't used to seeing man as much.
If you
back in the day.
Right, but if you don't practice against all the variations of blitzes that are in the packages for the team you're facing, you're gonna have a hard time with that. And that's what looked like. Minnesota they're just having a real hard time with that.
Well, Detroit did a good job with disguising their blitzes. You couldn't get a tendency on it, whether it was boundary or field or up the middle. I mean, he did a pretty good job mixing it up where they were coming from, hiding the safety rotations. And he's also been mentioned as a head coach candidate in some cases as well.
Yeah, they have a couple. They got a couple guys.
He may get an opportunity. The other news, the New England Patriots and the heir apparent that Robert Kraft was so proud of, just thought he was the greatest coach ever. Gerard Mayo, he lasted 16 games in 90 minutes.
90 minutes, boom, gone.
And yeah, no, zero hesitation at all. It's just you're done.
You got to look at it this way. And
thanks for playing.
Robert Kraft apologized to him today after getting rid of him yesterday. He said, "Listen, I left the guy hanging. The guy was on an island. It was a no-win situation.
But if you fire me,
right,
you can say you're sorry, but I'm not getting a paycheck.
Right. No, absolutely understandable. I mean, maybe he'll get a good letter recommendation. But the thing is right now that he basically was meant to be, unless there was a tremendous amount of success this year.
He wasn't even a coordinator.
He wasn't
right.
He was meant to be a stopgap until they found the man that they wanted to be at the helm. And I think right now with the search, I mean, right now you got to look at it. Who's the hottest commodity as a coach?
They're going to go with Vrabel, I bet.
Well, that's Mike Vrabel, sure. But you know what? If I'm Mike Vrabel, okay, I'm Vrabel. Okay. Do I want that job?
There's going to be a lot of pressure on you.
Well,
sure.
First of all, the cupboards are bare. There's not much there to build on. There's a few players. Okay. Why wouldn't I want to take the Chicago job?
The Chicago job probably long term would be better.
Right.
But
not long term, short term, right off the bat.
The ownership group in Chicago is a disaster.
The ownership group is, but bottom line, you know what? Success could be instant there. I mean, you're
playing in the NFC North with Detroit and Minnesota.
You have a talented core of players there that can win games in the NFL. They just need to be guided. And and you know what? Vrabel reminds me of a Mike Ditka kind of coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't take any shit. Yeah, he doesn't.
Former player.
Exactly. And so, I'm thinking right there, that may be the fit. If I'm Vrabel, I think 3 or 4 times before I just shake Kraft's hand and say, hand me the reins.
Well, he already interviewed for the Jets. So
Vrabel did.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
and he would be smart to turn that sucker down right away.
I wouldn't unless there were serious front office changes.
That's it. That's a dumpster. It's a dumpster fire.
Or concessions from Woody Johnson.
Yeah,
he's not going to be part of life.
Yeah.
And tell you what to do.
You're not going to get that. I would both New York teams to me are poison. Granted, the most intriguing thing
the Giants are not poison.
The Giants are poison. The Giants keep their head coach and their general manager.
Well, they didn't have a choice. They had to save face.
Why?
Well, because they made so many bad decisions, they had to justify them. So they had to keep the coaches.
Wait a minute.
It wasn't their fault.
Wait a minute. You're telling me in business, the guy that makes the most bad decisions is the one that you keep?
Because you look bad for hiring them. So I think the Maras didn't want to look bad for hiring them.
You look more foolish for allowing the guy to stay.
Yeah.
That means you don't learn from your mistakes. Fool me once, right? Fool me twice. You know the old saying, right?
Frank, the Giants traditionally have been an organization that does not make a lot of coaching changes fast. The last few years, they've gone through coaches like water.
Why shouldn't they?
Well, because that's not life.
It's been terrible. Sure it is. The NFL is
McAdoo
win now.
Got like 2 years. Shermer got a year.
The NFL is win now or go home.
It is.
That's right. So if you can't win now, you go home. This is Daboll's, 3rd year? Go home.
It was his 3rd year. He was coach of the year in 2022.
Yes.
So he was a genius in 2022.
Wins always make everyone smarter.
2 years later, he's a moron.
Correct.
He doesn't know football.
You know why? 3 years ago, he didn't know what he's walking into, didn't know what he's had. He organized it all. He had a veteran in the backfield. He had an up-and-comer quarterback they thought was decent, but couldn't prove himself yet. So they win. Now they know what they have. Last year they knew what they had. This year they walk into where they signed everyone they wanted, and they let their best guy go.
Yes, willingly.
Right. We don't want to
without a fight.
They had all the chips in their basket.
Well, they apparently loved Devin Singletary.
Right. He ended up being fantastic.
Yeah.
All the chips in the basket they needed. They could have been ready to roll. Instead, they make all these stupid decisions that cost them where they were, but they keep the same guys that make dumb decisions.
Coach Schuman. Good to see you.
Hello. You ever see Seinfeld where the episode where
Yes,
they're like,
hello.
hello.
La, la, la. Of course. I love doing that hello voice. I love that in Festivus. That's it. That's
Yeah,
it. That's
just
absolutely
for the
right.
rest of us.
Yeah, we were just talking about
Hi, Frank.
What's going on, Dave? I'm sporting the best team in the NFL right now. I think better than Kansas City. You're looking at it right here.
The
most physical team.
Oh my God!
Yeah, the Patriots firing Gerard Mayo after a year after Kraft anointed him Bill Belichick's successor. They may as well have just not fired Belichick if they were going to keep Mayo with this roster and fire him after a year. I mean, it was just a complete waste. What were your thoughts?
I agree in that obviously he did not have enough time to do anything. So the roster,
and he had the coaches too. He had all first year coordinators, coaches.
The roster's not a great roster to begin with. He I don't think he did a great job, but it wasn't like, I mean, listen, let's compare the job he did to the Giants head coach who keeps his job. Like,
Dayball,
holy shit,
two,
dude.
4 and 13 teams. Yeah.
I mean,
can that organization and the Jets organization be more confusing?
They should just merge.
The Jets are going to get it right, though. You know why? Because you know they're going to bring back.
They're not bringing back Rex Ryan.
Yeah, they are.
Oh yeah, they will. Yeah, they will.
Because
he thinks that he 100% is getting the job.
I know he does. I know. I read the quote where he said that he's going to end Aaron Rodgers' country club. That's what he said. And you think Rex Ryan, who's been out of coaching almost a decade, I believe?
Don't think it matters. I don't think it matters in anymore from the way it once did, because the players are all rentals for hire.
It's a quarterback-driven league, and they have one.
Not as much. In the old days, even in college now, like in the old days, you wanted to establish like players you knew, they knew who you were. I don't think they care anymore, the players, and I just think that I just think they're looking for whatever time they're there to be put in the right direction and help get into the right direction. And Dan Campbell's proven that, man. He has. Dan Campbell's proven it. Like they just want to be led in the right direction. Get yourself some good coordinators that can win ball games. They don't have to be breaking any kind of innovation records as far as
no.
They have two great coordinators.
Just be physical. Just be physical. That's it.
Because guys aren't as physical anymore. That's the bottom
teams
line.
Don't do that. Yeah.
So I think now is the era when you can go back to physicality because of the fact that players are raised in, especially in the South, man. I mean, they're throwing every down. That the DBs are faster than lightning. It's
all athletes, yeah.
Yeah, and if you can get up there and just pound them, I don't think a lot of teams are built for that. I mean, whether they win the Super Bowl or not is to me irrelevant as far as the success he's had, because he's kind of put in a model that is it's not old school, right? But it's like it mixes both worlds very well, and it leverages physicality, dude. It leverages physicality.
Are you saying that the D-backs in the Northeast are not as fast as the D-backs in the South? They were as good?
Well, I don't know if they're as good, but I know they're not as fast. That I know for a fact.
So I agree with you, because remember, how every team has a get-back coach, right?
Right.
You got the guy in the sidelines. Get back in the sidelines so you don't get a sideline penalty. Our get-back coach was the defensive coordinator, kept telling our D-backs, get back. Yeah,
Jerry
toasted. I guys get toasted. Get back.
Go back farther and farther.
That's it.
That's true. Dave, I know if you have a goatee. I like the goatee look.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. I like the beard look better. Yeah. But
no, I'm going with the goatee.
You know what it was? The beard was getting too
Santa Claus.
Santa Clausy. Like I was trying to like trim it, and I just couldn't get it right.
Yeah, the right size. That's
My
right.
problem too.
Screw it. I'm just gonna start again.
I leave it because I have a scar underneath my chin right here. Okay. A guy, he was a plastic surgeon, and he worked on a college hockey team, and he stitched me up, like I was going back in for the third period because it was just a crappy job. I got a scar, it looks terrible, so I keep the beard.
So, okay. So he just really just,
I mean,
it's operation on you.
It's a botch job. It's a botch job, man.
I never even noticed that you had a scar on your chin.
I had it's funny. I had one of the reasons why I stopped wrestling was I had surgery here because I had a I don't know if you would call it wasn't cancerous, but it was like a
tumor, a fatty tumor.
Yeah,
that's what I had removed. That's where a scar came from.
Yeah, so I had it removed, and they just, literally cut my throat to get at it.
Took a chunk out of you. It looks like.
Yeah, he took a chunk out of me. We're talking when I must have been 15.
Really?
Yeah, took it out, and then but yeah, so it was like, and then I couldn't wrestle my sophomore year because they're like, nah, we don't want to risk it because literally where they cut it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And then I just never went back. I just ran track and never went back. But it was it's crazy. The beard makes it look so much better. You know what I mean? Like you don't see that, but
yeah. But I do like the goatee. I do like the goatee. What did you think, Dave, of Jacksonville firing Doug Peterson? And they had things rolling for Trevor Lawrence, and they give him Urban Meyer, and then Doug Peterson comes in and leads into the playoffs, and then the last 2 years have been
he's good for immediate change. Didn't he win the Super Bowl with like an immediate?
He did, and he was fired 2 years later.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know much about him. Like I don't follow him that much in depth. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Trevor Lawrence was hurt quite a bit. That's the only reason why I was kind of surprised.
He doesn't build he I don't know. It's maybe he does build a roster and then they all leave him. I don't really know what the deal is there. All I know is this: he wins and then he like falls off the cliff.
Yeah, he goes hard. He goes hard off the cliff.
Well, I think all this is done is to prove the fact that we've got to stop retreading all these coaches. Get in new blood.
Well, the Mike McCarthy.
Well, it's not that Doug Peterson's bad per se, right? It's just that for some reason after a certain amount of time he must wear out.
Yeah, you lose.
Right.
Yeah.
He's like a few years guy. He's not a long-term guy.
Players don't listen.
Give me new blood.
I almost think you bring him into like. I think you bring Doug Peterson in when your team's at its lowest, and he wins for a few years, and then you say, "Doug, we just rented you for 3." And
thank you.
Well, that's the whole thing with Dallas and your boy McCarthy. Nobody knows what's going to happen with him.
We rented him for one too many years.
How are the Bears interviewing him?
How can you say that when he's had 3 12-5 seasons? He wins. Like, he's been successful. He just happens to lose in the playoffs. Wouldn't you rather
not successful?
This was his first non-successful year, but otherwise he's made the playoffs and he's been 12-5.
That's like saying you're dating a supermodel all the time, but when it comes time to really lay it down, you have erectile dysfunction.
Well, they're used
can't
to
perform when you need it.
Yeah. I mean, he can't, obviously.
Well, what good is that then?
But he's won a Super Bowl.
He's
a Super
Bowl. Fantastic.
He's better than most.
But Jerry Jones won't commit to anything.
Yeah, the Bears want him.
I heard Elon Musk is going to take over the Cowboys.
He should. That'd be fantastic.
Although he better stop bringing in all these H-1Bs.
That's probably.
That's the next show. That's the next show. Sorry.
Got to bring in some talent at the skill position.
Well, that's what it is. Yeah, of course.
The Broncos won and took care of business.
Who?
Do you think the Broncos won and took care of business? I mean, Carson Wentz started for the Chiefs. It's Frank's favorite quarterback, Carson Wentz. Do the Broncos with a rookie Bo Nix have a chance to go anywhere in the playoffs?
Well, I mean, their first round game is at Buffalo.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Where are they going?
I think they're dead in the water.
Well, I mean, they listen. The way they're playing as of recently, they're and the Bills are a little bit up and down, and losing to the Patriots yesterday. So does Denver have a shot?
Well, the Bills didn't. I don't think the Bills played their starters.
No, they didn't. But still, win, lose. It is what it is. But bottom line, when you're looking at it right now, Denver's not going to be affected by the cold.
They can handle that very easily.
They're on kind of a winning streak right now, and they have that thing that teams need going into the playoffs.
Yeah, they have momentum,
confidence, right?
Momentum and confidence.
Yeah, so they could pull something off. I mean, I think I'm looking at two teams as Washington and Denver as kind of like the two biggest turnarounds that you wouldn't have expected.
Right.
Those are the two of the teams. Like, oh my God, how did this happen in such a short period of time? You know? So,
right.
Yeah. I think there's always a chance.
So ESPN had an interesting article up. They were putting together the predictions for the awards of the year. And I just wanted to get your thoughts, Dave.
Do they have you listed up there as podcaster of the year?
I already won that months ago.
Who gave you that award?
I gave
Stevie
myself.
Wonder?
I got it. I made
as
it.
long as you win it in your mind, you won it, right?
Right,
yeah.
right.
Coach of the year.
Yeah.
Andy Reid. 15-1, Sean McDermott, or is it Dan Campbell, something like that?
Dan Campbell,
Harbaugh, Kevin O'Connell,
Dan Campbell.
Yeah, I think you got to list Campbell as number one. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you is Dan Quinn's got to be somewhere in their conversation. I mean, he's got we're talking 11 wins.
Dan Quinn should be in the conversation.
12 and 5.
He actually is not in the conversation for ESPN.
I know. I mean, there's a lot of good names out there. Don't get me
Jim
wrong.
Harbaugh, I wouldn't put him up there.
Well, they were good last year, and they were much better this year.
Right. And he changed the team around. You got to remember, they're more of a throwing team the last couple of years, and all of a sudden grabs the OC from the Ravens. And he turns around. Now he's smashed. Now they're a running team. They're sort of copying what Baltimore does.
But I definitely think the Lions played the 5th toughest schedule in the league, and of course the Vikings and the Bears were good at one point. I think for sure it should be Dan Campbell, even though the Walrus, as I like to call Andy Reid, the Walrus went 15-1. They just didn't have those.
But that was expected.
Wins.
That was expected in a way, right?
Yeah,
with Patrick Mahomes, you expect them to win. I mean, I granted 15 wins. That's a lot of wins for an NFL season. But I'm telling you, man, what Campbell has done in Detroit in such a short period of time.
They're perennial losers.
But I really have to say that's an entire organization that has turned it around top to bottom. Because the general managers are doing the right things. They're picking the right guys. I'm telling you, what shocked me was 2 years ago when they dumped their starting backfield of Swift and who was it? Williams. And they literally just dumped them, and they went to Montgomery and they drafted Gibbs.
Yeah.
I mean, they knew what they needed to do to improve themselves without fear.
Well,
most teams in the NFL,
he knew what he wanted.
Right, they're afraid to pull the trigger. They're afraid to pull the trigger sometimes because they're worried about making the wrong move. These guys are never worried about making the wrong move. Just like he did. He called fourth down. How many times does he go for a fourth down? He's not afraid to make that move. No, and I think that's sometimes it burns you, but I think right now they're just riding a wave of momentum. They're in the right spot. I mean, that's your Super Bowl team. I mean, that's one of the two teams in the Super Bowl. I think Detroit's going to be there.
I would have put Mike Tomlin in the conversation if they finished a little bit better, but he definitely resurrected Russell Wilson.
They didn't finish strong though.
That's the thing. They lost.
And Wilson still looks shaky. He looks okay sometimes, but he still looks. He just doesn't look. I mean, obviously, he doesn't look like he used to. When did he? The last 2 years, but man, he just sometimes doesn't fit right. I don't know what it is. The guy should be throwing the ball. I mean, still has a good arm.
Yeah, absolutely.
It still can move a little bit.
Yeah. No, I mean, he shouldn't have fallen off as far as he did.
Yeah.
Comeback player of the year. I think without a question, it's got to be Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I can't deny that one bit. I mean, who else do you put there? Who's the number two?
They had J.K. Dobbins from the Chargers, the running back, and they actually had Joe Burrow as comeback player of the year because he got hurt last year.
Player of the year.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's going to be an MVP candidate, but I don't think you can pick him, obviously, since they're not going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right?
I wouldn't say that either, but I mean, yeah, I mean, there are plenty of guys even a little better than Burrow. Yeah, I mean, Josh Allen's got to be up there too. I mean,
Well, I think Josh Allen MVP, offensive rookie of the year. The top two guys are obviously number one is Jaden Daniels, and number two was Brock Bowers, the tight end from the Raiders.
Brock Bowers
broke the reception record.
Yeah, I think he's got 100 receptions this year. That's kind of
insane. Daniels, you could argue for two. Obviously, it's one of those two.
Right.
Yeah, I think Daniels.
McConkey from LA probably a distant third.
I
thought he had a good year.
There's no way that you could do it without Daniels. Daniels completely turned that franchise around. And then obviously the MVP.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. But, obviously Josh Allen, obviously Joe Burrow. Mahomes doesn't have the numbers. And then
Jared Goff's got to be in that conversation.
He's not. He's not.
That's astounding to me. That's astounding that he's not at least in the conversation. Doesn't mean he's got to win it, but you got to put his name up there. I mean,
his name's not mentioned.
He has elevated himself to the next level. When he got traded from the Rams after being in a Super Bowl, everyone's like, "Oh, something's got to be wrong with this guy."
Right?
What was wrong with him was the system. I think.
Right.
I think McVay just was asking things that maybe Goff couldn't do.
Correct.
Whereas he comes into Detroit,
they designed a better
lot
system.
of stuff's around him, and a little more running. They wanted to be physical, and the guy fits right in. And now he's a leader. I watch all the social media clips, from the Lions and the Redskins, all that, and you'll see like at the end of every locker room talk when they give out the game balls, the guy breaking the team down is Goff. So
he's got confidence.
It just shows that he's a leader, and his numbers are really good. I mean,
no, they are. They're phenomenal. And it's Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, Barkley too. I mean, Barkley too is man.
I'd love to see Barkley get it, just because a running back hasn't got it in 10 years or whatever.
Yeah,
since Derrick Henry.
Yep. But I like to see it just to piss off the Giants fans a little bit more. See what you gave up here.
I would too. I would too, because they
treated him like shit.
Well, it wasn't even that. It was the difference of like $2 million per year,
and that's treating someone like shit.
Yes,
that's giving no value. It's giving no value. The guy walks into the GM's office, and Shane says, "Listen, we thank you for everything that you've done. We're just we want you to go out there. We want you to test the waters.
Yeah, we'll get back to us with whatever you get.
Test the waters." Listen, MFer, I'm out of here.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's the most disrespectful thing you could say to your star who kept
the guy
you
walking.
alive.
They didn't want him. They didn't want him even if it was cheaper.
They didn't want to pay for him.
They didn't want him if it was cheaper. And that's just
well,
telling you.
It's not like he was a diva. I mean, he was injury prone a few times, but when he's healthy, he's fantastic.
Who's not injury prone in the NFL?
Well, running backs wise, he missed like 2 full years. I think
he had severe injuries, but who's not injury prone in the NFL?
Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Right. He didn't even get to a season because he ran out with the flag and collapsed.
Yeah, pretty much. I wanted to go to college football because Dave had an interesting quote from the offensive coordinator, Dirk Cotter at Boise State.
Okay.
Who basically said that he was stepping down for no other reason than we won't be able to compete. That's basically what he said.
Can you believe the money they're probably throwing at what's the running back?
Genty, yes. Yeah, he said that all the SEC schools have made 6 and 7 figure offers to him, and there's no way for it. And that's we've talked about it to death that parity's going to be gone, and whoever's got the deepest pockets.
Parity. I think there's more parity at the top.
Well, yeah, with maybe 5 schools with the upper echelon.
I mean, Arizona State was in the mix. I mean,
they were, but They got smoked.
Parity at the top. What I think
How did they get smoked?
Well, they
lost in double overtime.
I know they lost in double overtime, but they went
even SMU, though they got killed. That's just the first year of them having money, so they're going to have much more money next year.
Right? No, right. They got a ton of money. No, like they
can build
$100 million. Yeah, they have $100 million.
Had all that money, they got into the playoff.
Yeah. No, they lost in the ACC championship to Clemson.
Let's go to something more important in college football. Last week's picks.
Yeah. Okay.
I was 4-0. I had a clean sweep.
Yes, you picked Ohio State.
4-0.
I thought you were nuts to pick
point spread wise, because I know when he gave me Arizona State and he said plus 13, I said I'll take Arizona State in 13 points.
Yes.
And sure enough, they covered easy.
Yeah.
Penn State.
I said the same. I said the same thing. I took Arizona State.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I said Texas would win, but I would take Arizona State to cover.
Play the tape back. Okay. So I took Penn State. I took Ohio State. You thought I was crazy.
I thought I did. Both of you took Ohio
State. Yeah,
I thought you.
And
I think I took.
No, you took Oregon. You took Oregon. Yeah.
Okay.
And I along with Dave, we both took Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. I did not think
that was my only good pick. Just because I watched Notre Dame the week before, like I watched the whole game, and I was like, oh. You know, when you watch a whole game, you're like, "Oh, this team is actually pretty damn good."
Pretty damn good. Their defense is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you never, if they play 10 times, 9 times out of 10, you would expect Georgia to win.
No, not this year.
No. You think Notre Dame would win 9 out of 10 times?
And especially, what did we talk about last week with the backup quarterback for Georgia?
Yeah. Right, because if Carson Beck's
that's a gimme, man.
Was hanging off.
That's a gimme. You can't.
All right, if Carson Beck was healthy,
that's a different story.
It makes a difference, right? It makes a difference. Yeah, makes a difference. Maybe I would say 6-4 Georgia if there's 10 games played, 7-3 Georgia, something like that. But man, I'll tell you right now,
complains about him too, Carson Beck, but like he's clearly better than anybody else they have.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, it's not even close.
No, if that kid's the number 2, and look, he's athletic.
You think he's a first-round pick?
Carson Beck?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know, but he's definitely a pro. But I don't know if I don't know. You know, he has ways to go. He's got to clean some stuff up. But as far as ability, like there are some games where you throw multiple picks, then all of a sudden just come out fire and throw multiple touchdowns. He has the ability. You know,
I missed my parlay.
Well, the Ohio State game, I could not believe how fast.
Well, no, I should have played that. I should have played the 14. Stupid.
I could not believe the score of the Ohio State game in the first half.
Listen,
they just exploded.
They smacked Oregon. Oregon was more shell-shocked than anything else. They came out so fast, and they put 21 up on the board before the Oregon blinked their eyes. And that was it. That was it.
No, it was. But what we have left is Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, and Notre Dame. I can't even remember. Do you remember the last time Penn State played Notre Dame? That used to be like a pretty good rivalry game when Joe Paterno was there and Lou Holtz. I mean, they used to play frequently because Penn State was an independent for a while, right?
Yeah, they weren't in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, they weren't independent, so they used to play quite often. I have to look it up, but I bet you this is the first time they played in a while. And I don't obviously trust James Franklin in big games, but he proved me wrong by winning and getting to this point. But overall, would you say the 12-team model of a college football playoff has been a success, Dave?
I like the model. They're just going to have to the thing with the bye and making sure they rate the teams properly so the right teams get the bye.
Yeah,
I think it is a big thing. But outside of that, 12-team playoff, dude, I think it's way better. I mean,
do you think the bye hurt Oregon?
I don't know whether it did or it didn't. I know it hurt Boise State because Dirk Cutter said during the week that they were off, all their kids are fielding calls from schools.
They're getting calls
to the transfer portal. So, I mean, that should be a blackout period for those teams.
Well, you shouldn't be allowed to join the transfer portal if you're in the playoffs, right? Is that what you're saying?
Join it when the week of the playoff begins until after. That should be a blackout. And instead of giving them 5 days to jump in after, give them like those players 15 days from either when they lose or, when they're finished.
Right.
Give them 15 days because I don't think look, obviously a lot of people covet those players, right? Because they're best players on the best teams. So it's not fair to the teams playing in it, the coaches and players, that they should be getting calls and all that kind of stuff. And it's also not fair for them to only have 5 days after that. So they have to make all these decisions. They're trying to win a championship. Fuck that. They should be in a situation where it should be a blackout period, and then they should get a long period just for those guys whenever they lose.
Like 2 weeks.
I would say like 15 days, 15 days. And not business day, 15 flat days.
What if it's just everybody across the board? Once the NCAA championship game is played, then the portal opens.
I have no problem with that too.
It's a little too late because the second semester of college would have already started. That's kind of why.
I don't have a problem with what Frank's. But the other issue is high school recruiting too, I think.
Right, but maybe you know what? Maybe you enter the portal and let's say at middle of January when the championship is, you don't go to that school that has accepted you until the fall. You finish out your semester.
You would have to do that, yes.
Yeah, I think that's fairer than anything because then you don't have to worry about anything. Everything's done and over. Here's the portal. It's opened up. Put it for X amount of days. Because think about it. You open the portal early. The non-qualifiers for the tournament, they're there to be raped, right? So you can pick and choose. Then all of a sudden, other guys can declare later, but you filled the spot because you grabbed a guy early on instead of waiting, right. And the other guy's better. So I think it's too much confusion. Just open it up after the NCAAs are over.
Or they could just get rid of it altogether.
They won't do that.
No. But you have to admit that if you had to assess it overall, would you say the transfer portal has been good for college football or bad?
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah, right. That's true.
If you ask the kids, they'll say this is
great.
Of course, because money. It's free agency. It's money. It's all that stuff.
You ask the coaches, it's going to be the opposite.
But the coaches, it's a nightmare.
I just think it should be, the rule should be you can go in the portal once.
Yes.
And that's it. So I can go from Miami to Penn State after my sophomore year, my junior, whatever.
You can't transfer 3 times.
And then I'm done.
Times.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I'm done. That's it. You know what I mean? So there's got to be some sort of limitation. But as far as the money being out there, good for them. Let them get some money. I'm not against that at all. Why not?
I think it has to do with legislation, some form of legislation. I don't know.
Which Congress won't touch.
Congress, it's a whole.
Maybe they make Nick Saban the commissioner.
I agree. I think that. I think Nick, that
I watch Nick every week. At first, he's kind of like a little bit of a stick in the mud.
Now he's good.
But
yeah,
now
he's showing some personality now.
Good, dude. He's funny. He realizes that even though they're all pretending to be serious, it's really not that serious, right?
No, right.
No, so now he rolls with it. He rolls with it and just has a good time.
Yeah, he doesn't try to be the smart coach who knows all the X's and O's and explains everything. He's actually having fun out there doing it.
Yeah, how old is he? 70-something? He should have some fun, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Well, I think he'd still be coaching.
Oh, absolutely.
If the climate didn't change like it did.
So literally, he was, either they said no more, for whatever reason, or he got sick, something like that.
No, I think he would have.
That might be for him because he is in phenomenal condition. The dude looks like he's 50 years old.
Yeah, he looks great. He dyes his hair.
Amazing. He really is he's really the coach that they all every one of these guys are looking to hire with the younger guys, like that model. In shape, handsome guy,
great recruiter. Yep.
Marcus Freeman's the same way, from Notre Dame. Yep. In shape, handsome guy, young guy, speaks really well, not that they don't get angry, they all get angry, but it seems like they're always well thought out, what they're doing. That's Nick Saban set that model into running, because that when Nick Saban became successful, guys like my man Mangino,
yeah. Him and Charlie Weiss were really setting
Charlie
the
Weiss,
example. The trend.
that was it.
The trend.
Yeah.
The coach, and then Friedgen, remember Friedgen?
Friedgen.
I love Friedgen.
And I wanted to bring this up because we talked about it earlier today on our other show, college basketball. We were talking about the UConn women's team and Paige Beckers, and Dave and I had a disagreement over.
Did she go down again?
Yes. Yes.
How bad is it?
We don't have an update, but it's apparently not too bad.
Okay.
It's not too bad. But my complaint was all summer she was jet setting around the country and, wasn't on campus working out, training with the team like everyone else.
With the team. Didn't mean she wasn't working out training.
No, she was training. She was training. Absolutely. She was training. She just wasn't with the team, with her team. And I thought that's how it's always been. And I go back to when I was there with Diana Taurasi and all those girls. We were there all summer, training and sweating and doing all that stuff together. You
were sweating with Diana Taurasi?
Oh yeah, all over.
Was it were these like sauna appearances?
Oh yeah,
really? Was it as Shaq would say to Charles Barkley? Was it towels on or towels off?
Oh, Diana could get freaky.
Really?
She doesn't care.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Is she tatted up? Was she tatted up at UConn?
No,
she wasn't.
No.
Is she tatted up now?
I don't know.
I don't know. I
so.
thought she had something.
She's Italian.
Hey, what's that mean? I got a couple tats. I'm a guinea.
Well, she speaks Italian.
Oh, so do I.
She speaks real Italian.
No, she doesn't.
Speaks Utica Italian.
Bullshit. She speaks Italian. Get her on the phone right now.
She does speak Italian.
Get her on the phone.
She won't answer if I call.
She doesn't. She wouldn't answer if you called. It's over.
Not right now.
You called her before. Remember, we were in my bar. You called her. I talked to her. Yeah,
I know. I can't call her right now.
Oh,
she's on vacation.
Really?
She's in Cabo San Lucas.
How do you know this?
Because I'm
pick up your call. Would she pick up your call?
I talked to D. Yeah. I call her D.
Right.
Ask Maria if I'm friends with D. That's all you got to do.
I thought she was friends with Jamar Wilkins.
We all used to hang out with her, man.
Yeah.
She loved the party. She was
they
fun.
were a little bit after me.
Yeah, all those girls were wild. They were Maria and D and were so much fun.
Yeah, C. They call you C. They called her D.
Yeah. That's exactly what they called.
Does she like the D or she likes the C? Well,
right now it's the C.
Oh,
yeah,
damn it.
Yeah, it's funny how they kind of go both ways.
Joy Taylor likes the D.
They've done it all. They've done it all. But yeah, I don't think
you know that story, Steve? You're not up on your news.
I don't.
Joy Taylor. There's a lawsuit that
Joy Taylor?
You know who Joy Taylor is?
I don't.
You know who was the lineman, defensive lineman? What was his name? Taylor.
You're not talking about the guy from Missouri.
No, he looks like Xerxes from 300.
No, I don't know. A defensive lineman?
He's got a chain through his nose tied to his nipple ring?
What was his name? Oh, my God.
Are you talking about
Jason Taylor.
Oh, Jason Taylor. Okay.
So his sister is Joy Taylor. She was on Fox Sports. She was an analyst. And the long and the short of it is she's accused of sleeping her way to the top.
Oh, well, that happens all the time.
I know, but she's controversial because she has the top job in like.
She's like got power.
She's like a top dog that she used it to get power.
How do you think Steve got this job right here? He slept his way all the way to the top.
You use your assets, and if those were her assets,
I've seen the Facebook messages. Steve's.
I mean, you got to use what you use, but so what happened?
Bad, Steve, you're the bad.
I had some D in front of me.
What happened? Is that the story?
What's
that
the
end of
story?
it?
It's a huge story. Look up on X. It's a huge story. Skip Bayless, she supposedly slept with. Manuel Acho. The head producer, who I never heard of the guy, but whatever his name was, the guy who was
Skip works it out.
If you're jumping in the sack with Skip Bayless, you are desperate.
Well, here's what's funny.
If jumping in the sack with Skip Bayless is going to increase your career earnings to 7 figures, I think you would do it.
I'd be shoveling shit somewhere. No way.
No.
Skip Bayless?
Skip Bayless, man. Yeah, he gets his colon cleansed regularly.
Well, it must all land on his face because he looks like shit.
Well, he gets a lot of Botox.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, he gets a lot of facial.
Sure, that doesn't help
facial
him.
treatment.
That doesn't help him.
But yeah, I mean, he's very health conscious. I mean, he does the colon cleanse.
Sure.
The colonoscopy, he always gets that done.
A colon cleanse and a colonoscopy are two different things.
He gets a colon cleanse or he gets a colon.
A colonoscopy is when they go in and they're looking for polyps or cancer in your a-hole.
No, but he does colonoscopies.
Colon cleanse is when you just want to keep the pipes clean and you run some hot water through yourself.
He does both. He does both
at the same time. Probably, I heard.
He does both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, how do you know this?
He talked about it.
He did.
He talked about it.
To you privately on your cell phone?
No, on his show.
Oh, I didn't know.
He talks about it because he's an advocate for men's health.
Well, I'll tell you this: I've had a colonoscopy and the what is it called, endoscopy when they go down.
Yeah.
So I've had it on both ends all the way through, and I have to say, like, a month after having it happen, it was like I was a new person. It's like they cleaned out all the pipes, you know?
It dropped everything, right?
Yeah, the colonoscopy is just rough for the first, probably 12 hours.
What's rough?
No. The drink's
out.
You're doing the cleanse to get it done.
You just drink. You just drink.
Great.
You put your brains out.
Great.
It's like an average day. It's like an average day.
No, that's what Skip Bayless advocates for. And now you can actually.
It's like going to an Indian restaurant.
Yeah, and now you can actually poop in a box and send it out, and they analyze it for you.
Yeah, but it's not as good. I do that, but it's still not as.
How do you get it in the box?
It's not a box. It's like you brush it.
Oh, it's a control. Okay.
You brush it, put it in the thing.
It smells like my dog is taking a shit somewhere around here as well.
I was just curious about it because I didn't know. But
you're still a little bit too. How old are you? You're still. What are you?
Yeah, well, I got to get it done. I'll get it done.
Young, I think, right? How old are you?
It's around the same age in the 40s. You got to start.
I got it at 48.
Okay. So I got a little more time.
45 now, I guess. But
yeah.
When I got it, my doctor at first was like, "Nah, you don't need it." And then when I turned 48, all of a sudden now they changed the whole guidelines, and he's like, "Well, now they're saying 45." So
I wonder what's in there. I mean, do you think there's a lot in there?
They cut polyps out of me, and they cut at both ends.
Yeah. I wonder what's in my colon. It'd be interesting to see.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. It's very interesting. But
it's going to go into your colon, and the doctor's going to scream "No mas."
There's probably like 3 Asian guys stuck in your colon.
Why would I put Asian men up my butt? I don't like Asians. I don't want anything going up my butt.
You went for the hot wax massage.
I don't like that. I would never do anything like that. But Paige Beckers, I was trying to ask you, do you think that her jet setting around the country was right and she had the right to do that, or should she have been practicing it in stores all summer with her new teammates? And Frank, I'm asking you.
You asking me?
Yeah, because Dave and I already debated
I think she should do whatever the hell she wants to do, unless there's mandatory practice.
They're technically not mandatory.
Right, they're not mandatory. She should show up. She should know who she's playing with. She should get together with them. Maybe they have a few scrimmages. Maybe they but after a while, she's got to be able to enjoy a little bit of her time and get out there. Plus, it benefits her pocket wise, benefits her social media. Yeah, she's got to get out there and promote herself too. So it's more than just a singular thing.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Right?
I don't
what
like
about
it.
the mental framework for her? Since she supposedly is such a celebrity there.
She is.
That might be good for her to get away a little bit mentally.
Right. She is. And by
the way, the one thing we forgot to talk about. Sorry, I woke my dog. Oh my God, my dog. I wish
he's taking a dump too.
No, he's just laying on his back, like sleeping. Like,
good.
He's waiting for rubs. He's waiting for rubs.
Oh,
he's got his balls hanging out. What were you going to say about Paige?
It's wild. What I was gonna say is that she brought her teammates with her to some of those things, which I thought was actually a nice gesture.
Occasionally, yeah, she did. Yes,
that was pretty cool.
It was. She got
probably paid for them.
When her new sneaker came out. She got all her teammates. She gave them pairs of her sneaker, which was nice. They had it made for her.
She brought them to. She brought one to the fashion show. She brought one to the game, WNBA All-Star game. So she kind of spread it around. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm even going to double down even more on what I said. Where I think it was good for her to do it.
If they don't win a national championship, is that going to change your perspective?
I think it has zero to do with whether they win or lose. To be honest.
You really do.
I really do.
If they were in the gym grinding all summer.
Basketball still has the fall. Football, it leads into your season summertime. So I could.
You don't think it's that important? As important as football?
I still think it's a little bit of overkill, even with football, to be honest. But
it is overkill. I agree.
I could see why it's important. Basketball, I do not see it. I do not see it. It's like saying if you have a great spring ball, your team does great in spring ball, you're going to all of a sudden win a championship in the fall. Spring ball has, in my opinion, zero to do with how good you're going to be in the fall.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Have to try different things.
Evaluate.
Yeah, it's good
period for the coaches.
You do basic stuff and you evaluate how your guys
a little bit better, I guess. I mean, for me, I just scrambled my brain for 4 weeks.
Well, I mean, but the problem now is they have to work out constantly in the off season. That's the issue. Is there's no more July?
It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. I mean,
July. It's not just weightlifting and running.
I mean, certain ones are making money, so okay, it may be more an investment for them. But the kids that are playing and that don't have an NIL deal. I mean, you're asking year-round commitment from them. They have no life.
Yeah, you don't.
They're getting a scholarship. Totally understand that, and it's worth a lot of money and all that. But bottom line, they're bringing back a lot of rewards to the college.
Yeah, that's $1 billion industry.
Right, they're making that college money. So you got to give. There's got to be time away, or not just time on. You can do. Listen, here's your time slot: 2 months. Go do whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
you want to practice more basketball?
That's never happened.
Right, but that's what should happen.
I agree.
You want to go practice basketball in the summer? You want to go practice basketball? Go ahead. You want to go to the beach? Go ahead. You want to go with your family? Go ahead. There's got to be some time.
They give us 2 weeks off max.
You're on a leash.
Yeah. No, you are. They own you.
If you're going to go to college, is going to go to the NFL model with paying players and having GMs and all these things, then they should go to the NFL model for all of it, other than recruiting, because obviously that's a different bird.
No, they need to have a union. I agree.
But they should go to the NFL model for all of it, meaning
the season,
time on, time off.
You have time away. Like you're not allowed to practice with them during this time periods, long extended time periods. Like off-season workout period is here. They do come in. Look, the NFL, they come in the summer for mini camp. Maybe you do that.
They cut OTAs now. A lot of teams.
I think you could do that in college now.
I agree.
Instead of this bullshit where
it's just busy work.
It's just another way for the coaches to be able to have you practicing more and more and more and more. And the bottom line is.
Well, I think it's for the coaches to show that there's
how much does your body? How much can your body take too? They're all worried about these guys going down with injuries all the time. Look at the page going down with injury.
It's for overtraining.
How much more can your body take? And there's got to be recovery time.
Yeah, they don't do that. They don't do that at all. I mean, they own you, and you said 2 months off. The most you get off in college is like 2 weeks. You'll get a week off for spring break. You'll get a week off in the summer and for the 4th of July. And then maybe you'll get a week off before the season starts, camp starts. That's it.
That's, to me, that's
not like baseball or basketball.
It is overkill.
It's overkill, yeah.
Football's too physical for that kind of.
Yeah, you should beat guys up at some point, I mean, basketball, literally, they could play every single day. And the club wants downtime, but you could play basketball every day. And, unless you're playing games, you're really not beating yourself up.
It's less strain on your body. It's less strain on your body, for sure.
Games might be a different story because you're playing a lot of games. But I'm saying in your off season, like you can go play pickup games.
No, I agree. And I think football is crazy too. They make football way too complicated, and these kids don't need to put as much time in as they are.
Yeah, there's never any pickup games in football. This is the sport of football. It's not like you're not like 22, 22. You're 22. Wait a minute. That's not pickup. I'm talking about you go out in the back. Remember how you said the turkey bowls and you get a bunch of your guys and go to the field, right? And you play tackle football and you're like 25.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When does that happen now? No one does that.
Have you ever seen these 37U videos? Do you ever see the 37U?
No.
Oh, it's the greatest, dude. You got to go on YouTube or maybe it's on Instagram and type in hashtag 30, the number 3, the number 7, U. You know what I mean? Like Little League, like U10, and 37U. Type it in or 37U football. Dude, you'll be it's the greatest. These guys it's adult tackle football with like no pads. These guys are all playing, and it's
they kill each other.
These guys are laying each other out, killing each other, and you got like Bubba out there like at 450 pounds. Then you got some running back that looks like he just takes juice and doesn't ever do sprints, and it's great, dude.
I'm definitely gonna look at that. That's very exciting.
Of entertainment. It's unbelievable entertainment.
That is unbelievable entertainment. Just quickly, your college football picks as we go. The semifinals are coming up. Texas, Notre Dame, Ohio State. Those between the schools that we have in there right now. Frank, your prediction for the final for the college football?
What? No, so it's Notre Dame, Penn State.
Correct.
And then it's Ohio State, Texas.
And Notre Dame is favored.
Notre Dame is favored by how much?
2.5.
Notre Dame is minus 2.5.
I believe so. Yes, it was 2.5.
No, I like Penn State's.
Yeah, it's Notre Dame minus 2.5.
I like Penn State's defense as well. So two good defenses. I think the better offense is Penn State between them and Notre Dame.
And it's obviously at a neutral site.
You're going to give me 2.5. I'll take Penn State.
Penn State?
I'll take Penn State over Notre Dame.
I'm taking Penn State just because I hate Notre Dame. Dave?
I loved how Penn State is played.
This could be the Irish year. The year of the Irish.
Notre Dame is going to get there. And I'll pick Notre Dame, and I'm going to pick Ohio State. They just look too damn good.
What's the spread in that game?
Ohio State's favored by 5.5. Ohio State minus 5.5. Yep,
5.5.
That's a tricky one.
Yeah, I'm going to still take Ohio State.
I would take Ohio State.
I'll go up to 5.5.
So. I've never seen an offensive explosion like Ohio State.
Yeah. So Ohio State, Penn State, or Ohio State, Notre Dame. That's what we're looking at for the final.
That's what we're looking at.
Basically, Ohio State.
And you hate Ohio State when they're in the finals.
No, I don't hate Ohio State.
Yes, you do. You get angry when they're in the finals.
No, I don't.
The year Justin Fields was in the finals, you were disgusted. You said they shouldn't have been there, and Fields is overrated.
Yeah, but Fields is overrated. But I don't mind Ohio State being in the final. They're
the Big Ten is different now.
Everyone panicked. All right, so Oregon beat them in the beginning of the season. And then Michigan obviously beat them in the last game of the year, So
and they rebounded.
But everybody, my thing is this.
That is crazy.
I was telling you this when you were with me when we watched. What game did we watch together? You were here at my house for like 3 quarters or whatever.
Yeah,
whatever the game was. And I kept saying, it was the Oregon Ohio State game. Bottom line, you were like, I can't believe Ohio State's losing or winning. I can't believe Ohio State's beating them this bad. Ohio State has probably, I don't know, 20 or 30 of the top 10 picks in the country every year on their roster.
You said that, yes.
I mean, the talent level that's on the roster is yay deep.
Yes.
So it's the same with Penn State as I'm looking at it. Texas has a very talented roster. Notre Dame too, and all that. So there's 14.
Texas had the highest NIL money.
Right, but Ohio State, they have so many five-star athletes.
Why have they won more if they have? They haven't won. They haven't won crap.
No, they have as far as national championships lately. No, they haven't. I mean, but they're always there in contention.
They're in contention.
See Notre Dame right now. Notre Dame hasn't been in contention in a while.
They were in the national championship game like 2 years ago.
Right. And then 2 years of failure. They got
annihilated.
Right. They got annihilated. And then 2 years of failure.
And they lost to Northern Illinois this year.
And then before that, where have they been? So Penn State hasn't been able to surpass the hump and all that.
Never.
Right. Texas probably has the most talented roster maybe overall as far as athleticism, but they can never put everything together. How many years has Texas suffered without a national championship since Vince Young?
Well, it's amazing that every team in this is not a conference champion.
Right.
That's what's crazy.
Right. So, but what you're looking at an Ohio State team that constantly produces recruits and maintains five-star athletes.
They get a lot of NFL guys.
So I mean, those are what I look at, and then the consistency. He's been consistent. Ryan Day. Is Ryan Day the Mike McCarthy of college football? I don't know, but I know that right now they've got a very talented roster. They're riding a little bit of a hot streak now after the Michigan game. I'm riding Ohio State all the way to the championship game. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we have our predictions, which is great. This has been another phenomenal episode of Moneyline on 97.9 Unity Radio. Ernie, we love you. The voice of reason.
Another phantom week of Ernie.
Ernie.
Might as well just put up a picture of Ernie from Sesame Street.
Okay.
I was just thinking that.
He hears this. That's nice.
Put it right. Well, I mean, I don't even know what the guy looks like.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Seen this picture.
No, I don't. I haven't seen any pictures.
How come we didn't get invited? Me and Frank didn't get invited to the Christmas party.
You want to go to Worcester for the Christmas party? Because
Yeah,
you get shot.
Why not?
My voice is on their radio. If that's
shot. You'll get shot.
No, I would not. You're out of your mind.
Yes, you are hated. We are hated in Worcester.
No, you're not.
We're hated.
Troy Taylors would be throwing themselves at me. I'd have to fight them off.
We're still not on Unity in the Community. Black in Business.
Right.
What other shows does Ernie have on there?
Cannabis 101.
Cannabis 101. Why can't I be on that?
Yeah, you want to talk about weed?
Yeah, absolutely. My friend just opened up a dispensary here in New Hartford.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's good. All right. Voice of reason, Frank Cristiano, Coach Schuman, great influencer. Coach Schuman, Sports and Entertainment Channel.
2.6 million subscribers. Did we just jump from last night?
7.18 people.
Yes. Please hit that subscribe button. And remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges.